Genesis 19 is a sobering account of divine judgment and human failure. The story concludes God's investigation of Sodom and Gomorrah, where sin has reached its peak. We witness the stark contrast, Lot's righteousness, the city's corruption. This narrative challenges us to consider justice, mercy, the consequences of abandoning moral foundations. The story's impact echoes throughout the Bible, serving as a warning, a lesson about God's authority. Let's explore this chapter, seeking its meaning and relevance for us today. Two angels arrive in Sodom at evening, where Lot sits at the city gate. Recognizing their importance, Lot bows and insists they stay at his home, offering protection, offering hospitality. The angels initially refuse, but Lot's persistence prevails. He prepares a meal of unleavened bread, showing urgency and care. Lot's hospitality stands in stark contrast to the city's coming hostility. This act sets him apart, revealing his character amid a corrupt society. The angels are not mere travelers, they're here to confirm the city's wickedness. Lot's actions become the first evidence in the case against Sodom. Before the weary travelers, the angelic guests, can find a moment of rest within the walls of Lot's home, an unsettling darkness begins to stir in the city. The sun has long since dipped below the horizon, casting long, ominous shadows that seem to mirror the moral decay festering within Sodom. An angry mob, the men of Sodom, young and old, from every quarter of the city, surround Lot's house. Their intentions are far from peaceful. A palpable sense of menace hangs heavy in the air. The flickering lamplight casts grotesque shadows on their faces, revealing a collective desire for something wicked. They are demanding, with increasing vehemence, that Lot surrender his visitors to them, their intentions clear: to abuse and humiliate these innocent men. Their voices, a cacophony of lust and malice, echo through the narrow streets, a chilling testament to the city's moral bankruptcy. The entire male population, a unified force of depravity, is united in their wickedness. There is no dissent, no voice of reason to be heard above the baying crowd. This is not the act of a few isolated individuals, but a citywide descent into the abyss of sin. This horrifying display confirms the city's total corruption, a festering wound upon the land. Sodom has become a byword for iniquity, a place where the most basic principles of hospitality and decency have been utterly abandoned. The very air seems thick with the stench of sin. In a desperate attempt to appease the mob and protect his guests, Lot pleads with them, begging them to reconsider their vile demands. His voice is filled with anguish, a desperate plea for sanity in the face of overwhelming madness. In a move that reflects the deeply flawed values of the time, Lot even offers his own daughters in desperation, a sacrifice he believes will satiate the mob's lust and protect his guests from harm. This act, born of desperation, highlights the distorted moral landscape of Sodom. This shocking proposition is a stark reflection of the era's twisted values, where the perceived honor of protecting male guests outweighs the safety and well-being of women. It's a grim illustration of how far Sodom has fallen from grace. The mob, fueled by their insatiable desires, rejects Lot's offer with scorn and derision. Their bloodlust is not so easily quenched. They are determined to have their way, regardless of the cost. They turn their anger towards Lot, threatening him as an outsider, a man who dares to challenge their depraved customs. They see him as an obstacle to their desires, a symbol of the righteousness they have long abandoned. As the situation spirals out of control and violence escalates, the mob surges forward, attempting to break down the door and seize their prey. The scene descends into chaos, a maelstrom of pushing, shoving, and angry shouts. In a moment of divine intervention, the angels reach out and pull Lot inside, shielding him from the mob's wrath. The door slams shut, a temporary barrier against the encroaching darkness. Then, with a blinding flash of light, the angels strike the mob with blindness, plunging them into confusion and disarray. The crowd stumbles and gropes, their lustful intentions thwarted by divine power. This divine intervention, a clear demonstration of God's power and judgment, is the final, irrefutable proof, the point of no return. Sodom has sealed its own fate. Sodom's judgment is now certain, its destruction imminent. The city has crossed a line, and there is no turning back from the consequences of its actions. The city's depravity is complete, its moral compass shattered beyond repair. Sodom stands as a testament to the destructive power of unchecked sin and the inevitable consequences of rejecting God's law. The time for mercy has ended. Sodom has exhausted its last chance for redemption. The scales of justice have tipped, and the city is about to pay the ultimate price for its wickedness. The angels' mission is clear. They are not here to negotiate or to offer further warnings. Their purpose is to carry out God's judgment, to cleanse the land of this festering sore. Destruction is imminent, a fiery cataclysm that will erase Sodom from the face of the earth. The city's fate is sealed, its doom drawing ever closer with each passing moment. Sodom's fate is sealed, irrevocably determined by its own actions, its own choices. The city has sown the seeds of its own destruction, and now it must reap the whirlwind. The angels urge Lot to gather his family and flee. Their warning is clear. Destruction is coming because the city's sin has reached God. Lot pleads with his sons-in-law to escape, but they dismiss him as joking. Their disbelief seals their fate. They remain behind. The opportunity for salvation is offered, but only those who heed the warning will survive. The tragedy is not just the city's destruction, but the refusal to accept mercy. Lot's urgency is met with indifference, a sobering reminder of spiritual blindness. The window for escape is closing fast. As dawn breaks, a new day dawns, but not for everyone. The fate of Sodom hangs precariously in the balance. The sky begins to lighten, painting the ancient city gate in hues of gold and rose, a stark contrast to the darkness that festers within its walls. This is not just another sunrise, it's a moment of reckoning, a final opportunity for escape. The air is thick with anticipation, the silence broken only by the distant sounds of a city still unaware of its impending doom. The angels, divine messengers of both warning and salvation, command Lot with unwavering authority. Their presence is a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Their mission clear, to extract the righteous from the clutches of a doomed city. Their gestures are not mere suggestions but divine directives, echoing with the power of the Almighty. The dawn light catches their wings, illuminating their purpose with an ethereal glow. Hurry, take your family and flee immediately. The urgency in their voices is unmistakable, a desperate plea against the ticking clock of divine judgment. Every second counts as Lot and his family are thrust into a whirlwind of hurried movement, their lives hanging by a thread. The city gate, once a symbol of security, now represents the threshold of destruction. But Lot hesitates, a conflict raging within him. The familiar comforts of Sodom, the life he has built, tug at his heartstrings. He is paralyzed by fear and loss, the weight of his past choices bearing down on him. The faces of friends, the memories of shared moments flash through his mind, making the decision to leave all the more agonizing. The grief of abandoning everything he knows threatens to consume him, blurring the line between salvation and regret. But the angels, recognizing the depth of his struggle and the imminence of the danger, physically lead them out, a testament to God's unwavering commitment to saving those who are teetering on the brink. The sky begins to glow with an ominous light, a visual warning of the impending catastrophe. This is an act of God's profound mercy, a divine intervention that overrides human weakness and offers a second chance. The compassionate touch of the angels is a reminder that even in the face of judgment, grace abounds. Escape for your life. The command echoes in their ears, a constant reminder of the peril they face. Don't look back, the angels warn, knowing the seductive pull of the past. And don't stop in the plane. There is no room for complacency, no time for rest. Their survival now depends entirely on unwavering obedience to these divine instructions. Every step must be purposeful, every decision aligned with the path to safety. The journey to freedom isn't over, it has only just begun. The road ahead is long and arduous, fraught with challenges and temptations. They must keep moving, relentlessly pursuing the promise of safety that lies on the distant horizon. The image of a refuge, a place of peace and security, fuels their determination. God's mercy has delivered them from the immediate threat, a gift beyond measure. But their choices, the decisions they make in the face of adversity, will ultimately determine their final fate. The path to salvation is not merely a physical journey, but a spiritual one, requiring constant vigilance and unwavering faith. Leaving sin behind is only the crucial first step, a necessary but insufficient condition for true redemption. one must resist the insidious urge to look back, to long for the familiar comforts of a life steeped in wickedness. The urgency of their situation is palpable, a tangible force driving them forward. Hesitation, a moment of doubt, could mean utter destruction, not just for themselves, but for generations to come. Lot and his family stand at a critical crossroads, a stark choice between salvation and utter ruin. The path to safety is clear, but the temptation to stray, to glance back at the glowing city, remains a powerful force. The final, defining test is their unwavering obedience to God's command, a testament to their faith and a beacon of hope for all who seek redemption. Even in crisis, Lot negotiates, fearing he can't reach the mountains. He pleads to escape to a small nearby city instead. The angel grants this request, sparing the city for Lot's sake. God's patience and flexibility are evident, accommodating Lot's weakness. The destruction is delayed until Lot reaches safety. The fate of the plain now hinges on Lot's swift obedience. God's mercy is personal, responding even to fearful prayers. As Lot enters Zoar, a small refuge nestled amidst the desolation, he believes he has finally found sanctuary. He has escaped the clutches of Sodom, leaving behind the wickedness and corruption that had plagued his soul. But even as he steps within the protective walls of this tiny town, the storm clouds of divine judgment gather on the horizon, ready to unleash their fury upon the cities he left behind. Judgment falls, fire brimstone destroying Sodom, a city steeped in sin, its towers and walls now crumbling under the weight of divine wrath, Gamorrah. The sister city, equally deserving of destruction, meets the same fiery end. The skies weep with molten rock, and the earth trembles under the force of God's judgment. The devastation is total, a cataclysmic event that reshapes the landscape and leaves an indelible scar on the land. Erasing cities, once vibrant centers of commerce and culture, now reduced to smoldering ruins. People, their lives abruptly cut short, their dreams and aspirations turned to ash. And all life. The very essence of existence is extinguished in the wake of this divine inferno. In the escape, Lot's wife looks back, a fatal act of disobedience that seals her tragic fate and becomes a pillar of salt, a stark reminder of the consequences of defying God's command. Her disobedience reveals a divided heart, a soul torn between the promise of a new life and the allure of the familiar past, longing for what was lost, the comforts, the relationships, the very identity she had forged in Sodom. Her fate is a haunting warning, a timeless lesson etched in stone, or rather in salt. Don't look back when God calls you forward. Embrace the future with unwavering faith, leaving behind the shadows of the past. Jesus later references her as a lesson in Luke 17, verse 32, in wholehearted obedience, emphasizing the importance of complete devotion to God's will. The story underscores that physical escape isn't enough. Merely fleeing from danger is insufficient for true salvation. Our hearts must also turn from the past. We must sever the emotional ties that bind us to our former lives, embracing a new identity in Christ. Lot's wife was close to safety, within reach of salvation, yet she faltered at the final moment. But her attachment to Sodom cost her everything. Her life, her future, her very being, all sacrificed on the altar of nostalgia. The consequences of looking back are final and irreversible, a chilling reminder that our choices have eternal ramifications. The scene shifts to Abraham, who returns to the place where he pleaded for Sodom. He sees the smoke rising from the plain, a grim confirmation of God's judgment. Abraham's intercession had limits. The city was too corrupt to be spared. Yet God remembered Abraham and saved Lot for his sake. Lot's deliverance is rooted in Abraham's faith and prayer, not just his own actions. The story ends with a reminder: God's mercy often extends through the faithfulness of others. Even amid judgment, God honors his promises to the righteous. Lot, now fearful, leaves Zoar for the mountains with his daughters, living in isolation. Believing they are alone, the daughters plot to preserve their family line through their father. They intoxicate Lot and commit incest, resulting in the birth of Moab ben Ami. These sons become ancestors of nations that will trouble Israel. The story ends in tragedy. Sin's legacy persists even after escape. Lot's journey from Sodom to the cave is marked by loss, shame, unintended consequences. The chapter closes with a sobering truth: escaping judgment is not the same as escaping sin's influence. The legacy of Sodom lingers, a warning for generations to come. Thank you for watching. Trust God completely and keep your eyes fixed on Him and never look back. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. See you back on our next video. God bless.